My parents thought it was a joke. You want your aunt to buy the Calavista? They burst out laughing. Why not? I asked. I showed them Shen's letter, the part about how everyone in the city was starting to buy a property. They're not going to buy a motel, my dad said. Fine, they don't have to buy it, but they can lend us the money. We can buy it, and we could run it with Lupe and her family, I said. They don't have that kind of money, my dad said. If they did, they wouldn't be in China. Well, it doesn't hurt to ask, I said. No way. My mom's screwed her up her face. I'm not going to ask my sister for money. Sometimes when my parents got like this, I really wanted to spray them with all purpose cleaner. Don't you guys want to get off the roller coaster? I asked. Mr. Yao wants to sell the motel. I heard him on the phone. He's desperate. Aunt Julie has money now. We could buy the motel. Don't you see what a huge opportunity this is? No, my mom didn't see. I see her head in the clouds, is what I see, my mom said flatly. Hank found me later that afternoon sitting at the back of the stairs. Why so blue? He asked, taking a seat. I shrugged. You still thinking about your lucky pennies? I shook my head. I wasn't thinking about those lucky pennies. I was thinking about this one, the humongous penny staring us in the face. I was called It was called family, and my parents refused to pick it up. When I told Hank, he got up, patted my head, and said, "Don't worry, leave it to me." He walked up to where my parents' maid cart was, and I followed him. My parents were in room 13 cleaning. Hank walked in and sat down on the bed. You know, it's funny. It's a funny thing. Pride, Hank said to my parents. It stopped me many times in my life. Hank glanced at me and added, and I'm not just talking about my reference letter. My mom put her broom down and wiped the sweat off her forehead. She sat down on the bed next to Hank. Hank took a deep breath and gazed outside in the general direction of the pool. I'm talking about when I was young, he sighed. When I was 6, I wanted to be a swimmer. I just loved watching swimming on TV. There wasn't a pool in my neighborhood, so I would walk 5 miles to the Y over in the next town to go swimming. And I got pretty good. In high school, I tried out for the swim team. And you know what? I made it too. I made it onto the team. I smiled. So then what happened? I asked. Hank grimaced. He told us about the other kids on the team and how they kept making fun of him. They kept saying stuff like the basketball courts that way and where you're putting on sunscreen, you don't need sunscreen, stuff like that. He shook his head. I reached over and put my hand over his. I thought I would show them in the water, show them how fast I was. That'll shut them up. But the day of the big meet came, and guess what? What? I asked. I was dead last. It wasn't even close. So, you know what I did? What? I quit. Just walk on out and never came back, he said. Good for you, my mom said. You're better off without them. See, that's what I used to think. But now, you know what I think? I think if it were Mia, she wouldn't have quit. She wouldn't have let those punks take away her dream. She would have worked hard and gotten better. So, what if you lose the first race? You get back in there and keep swimming. And you know something? She would have been right. I thought back to all the times Hank walked by the pool, how he always stopped and stared at it, his mind a million miles away. Hank turned back to my parents. The point I'm trying to make is you can't let a useless thing like pride get in the way of your dreams, Hank said. That's what I realized this year. Hank pointed at me. Now, you've got a very special little girl here. You owe it to her to swallow your pride, he said. I've been around long enough to know there aren't many chances in life for our lot to change our luck, and this is it. You're staring at it. Yao's dying to sell the motel. But it's not that simple. I've been lying to my sister about how great our life here is, my mom confessed. So tell them the truth. No skin off your back, Hank said. My mom looked hesitantly at my dad. Hank's got a point, my dad said. Please, mom, I added. My mother peered into my eyes. Hesitation melted into resolve. Slowly, she stretched out her hand. Give me the phone, my mom said. We all crowded around my mother as she picked up the phone in the room and dialed international for my aunt, a number she knew by heart yet never used. My father looked at his watch. What time is it over there? He wondered. Probably 9:10 in the morning. We waited and waited while it rang. Finally, on the fifth ring, my aunt picked up. Julie? My mother said in her rapid fire Chinese. Yes, Ing. My mother's face lit up when she heard her sister's voice. I guess all the lies in the world couldn't pull two sisters apart. We're doing great, my mom said. Everything's fine, just terrific. Oh. I could feel her Macy's voice coming on. Listen, the reason I called is I have an opportunity for you, my mom said. My mom glanced hesitantly at my dad, who nodded. Go on. How would you like to invest in some American property? A pause. Yeah, I said. American property. My mother repeated. Not just any property, a motel. See, the owner of our motel, Mr. Yao, is selling his motel. And I just thought, I could hear my aunt's animated voice on the other line, but I couldn't make out what she was saying. No. You wouldn't have to run it. We could run it for you. It's real cash. It's a real cash cow, this motel, my mom said. A wonderful opportunity. My mom's face fell. I see. I could tell from the look on my mom's face my aunt wasn't going for it. My mom held her hand over the receiver and whispered to us. She says they're saving up to buy an apartment in Beijing for Shen. An apartment for Shen? Shen's only 10. No, of course, I understand. But listen, you don't have to put in a lot. You could ask Qing, Lan, Beiming. You could ask the whole neighborhood. Everybody could each put in a little. Qing Lan and Bingming were my mom's other siblings. My mom frowned. Oh, they want to buy an apartment in Beijing too? Huh, she said. My mom shifted her weight from one foot to the other. I could tell she was ready to give up and I poked her. No, my mom looked over at us. Tell her, my dad mouthed. Okay, listen, she sighed into the phone. The truth is, we are really struggling here. Slowly, my mom put aside her Macy's voice and told my aunt the truth. So I'm asking, my mom said as at last, her voice shaking, will you help us, sis? There was a long pause at the other end of the line, during which my mom, Hank, and I all held our breaths. As my aunt delivered her verdict, my mom sank onto the bed.